the kick. Look at the wind helping. It's sidewinding. Into the run. Oh, my goodness. Something option, an opportunity for the goal. He's an incredible touchdown run with 47 seconds to go. And again, it's championship.
Through the years, emotion, drama, and ecstasy have characterized IHSA championships. Stay tuned as the drama continues. Good afternoon and welcome back to our coverage of the IHSA State Football Championships. You have already seen the Class 1 and 2A championship battles. Coming up now, the 3A championship featuring Waterloo and Pontiac. Let's head back out to Normal, where Mike Lederman and Jack McInerney are standing by to call the 3A game. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Steve Cashel, and welcome back here to Hancock Stadium in Normal, Illinois. The weather's certainly a lot better than it was when first we met this morning for the 1A game. This is the 3A game. Mike Lederman along with Jack McInerney, and you can almost feel your feet sort of get a grip on that turf now, Jack.
I can almost feel my feet. Forget the turf.
Yeah, it's wind chill is down around 0. The temperature has been in the 20s to start, and it's dropping there. Right now it's 24 degrees. The situation, though, Jack, does feel as though there is some more traction here for the 3A game, and quite a game it's going to be. Undefeated team against a team with only one defeat.
It really is, and it's a game that's highlighted by both quarterbacks on each team. They do an awful lot for their respective teams. They're handling the ball. They throw the ball quite a bit, and a lot of multiple offense. A lot will have to do with the traction tonight.
Well, let's talk about those quarterbacks. Tony Furtich is a junior. He is for Waterloo, and let me tell you, he is quite a versatile performer. He's probably the fastest back on the team, but he plays quarterback except when he shifts into the running back position.
They do some interesting things with their quarterbacks. They put them in a running back position. They'll bring a flanker in and put him at quarterback. They try a lot of trick plays, but they're sound basically. You don't come up with the state championship game with a record like they have and not be sound fundamentally.
Well, they will need to be sound fundamentally because they are going against a team from Pontiac that has probably the outstanding small high schools player in this area for the 1993 season. His name is Reggie Kennedy. He is also the quarterback who will play running back as well for MICK PETERSON.
Well, when you do as many things as he does and has the great versatility he has, he's thrown over 201 passes. He's rushed for over 500 yards, and he's thrown for just about 2,000. He's got a lot of versatility. You can put him anywhere, and he's going to produce.
I know, yes, he plays defense, too. In the semifinal, he also had 2 interceptions. So we're going to see Reggie Kennedy and a host of other folks from Pontiac and Waterloo for the Class 3A championship. As dusk falls, let's go now to our man on the sidelines, and he's been there all day. I hope you're warm. Here's Joe Passion.
I've begun to thaw out somewhat, and even though the look from upstairs of the field gives you the indication of more green than ice, the surface of the field is actually very icy. Temperatures are going to just keep dropping as the evening goes on. How did these two teams get here? Well, they took different roads, but they all ended up in the same place. We first start off with the visiting team here today, the Bulldogs of Waterloo High School, and they knocked off some very outstanding teams, and as they've done all year long, they've done it with their very stingy defense, including that semifinal win over Mater Dei. Now, for the team that will be the host team on the near sidelines, they of course are the Indians of Pontiac, the Cardiac Kids from just up I-55, and they have done it with their offense, averaging over 30 points a game this season. You want to know where these teams actually come from? Well, Waterloo is just south of St. Louis along the Mississippi River Valley, and then there's Pontiac just up the road, and most of the team and most of the town has come out here on their very short little drive to be here in Normal for this game. Let's find out who those individual starters are. Let's go upstairs now to the PA announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for tonight's Class 3A State Championship football game. First, the offense for Pontiac High School. At wide receiver number 1, Jason Smith. At left tackle number 64, Tyson Naylor. At left guard number 63, Steve Gall. At center number 50, Jeremy Dodson.
At right guard, number 51, Scott Robinson. At right tackle, number 71, Jason Waldschmidt. Tight end, number 87, Aaron Stewart. At quarterback, number 7, Reggie Kennedy. At wide receiver, number 85, Jake Prescher. At running back, number 13, Heath Dodson. And running back number 25, Jim Burnside. The Indians are coached by Mick Peterson. The starting defense for Waterloo at left end, number 60, Greg Evans. At left tackle, number 73, Jamie Gregson. At right tackle, number 77, Jeremy Reese. At right end, number 83, Jeremy Gregson. At linebacker, number 64, Mike Reagan. At linebacker, number 33, Matt Altus. Linebacker, number 20, Ryan Wilson. Defensive back, number 23, Trevor Gann. Defensive back, number 41, Ken Jackson. Defensive back, number 34, Chad Steening. And at safety, number 9, Tony Burdish. The Bulldogs are coached by Brent McGee.
There is Brent McGee, second-year coach of the Waterloo Bulldogs. And they will be kicking off from our left to our right to the Indians of Pontiac. The officials, the referee is Gene Fowler, the rest of the crew, John Jennings, Tom Valley, John Hiroff, and Garrick Abetzian, the back judge. Well, we're up to the 3A schools. The population of Waterloo, about 6,000. As you can see, the enrollment, about a tenth of that. The Cahokia Conference. And Brett McGee, as we told you, only his second year as head coach, but he has seen these kids, some of them, since second grade. He was teaching in the elementary schools there. The Pontiac Indians, again, 11,000 folks. Enrollment about 745. They're in the Corn Belt Conference. And Mick Peterson in his 5th year as coach of the Indians. Well, if you're looking for Mick Peterson on the sidelines, you won't find him. Mick spends most of the first half up in the press box, maybe today because he's got a better view of things, but also because of the weather. No, Mick is telling you that that's where he can see the game, get a feel for it, and come down and then run things from the sidelines. That is Tim Keefe, the senior, who is their extra point specialist, also kickoff man and backup quarterback as well. Deep for Pontiac, number 21, you see Jeremy Turner. And we're about set to get underway. 3A championship, Waterloo undefeated, Pontiac 12-1. And we're all set to go. Taken short. Jeff Callis giving his team good field position to start an 18-yard return. And again, the sidelines all but obliterated here up to close to the 40-yard line. And there is Jeff Callis for Pontiac. And we'll take a look at the offense. Reggie Kennedy, the 6'3", 205-pound senior. Heath Dodson, Jim Burnside. Burnside will split out wide often. The ends, Aaron Stewart at tight end. The wide receivers, Pressure and Smith. Smith, the receiver of choice generally, but it was Pressure who made a game-winning catch in the semifinal. Right to throw is Kennedy. Fakes it to Dodson, and it goes over to Smith. Ooh. And the necktie tackle missed. Gain of close to 10 yards. Tony Furtich bringing down number 25, Jim Burnside, on that little swing screen, if you will, after the fake over to the right side.
Notice how he looks away from the screen. A good fake over there, draw the linebackers, and he just dumps it right over here. Nice call early because the anticipation of the defense, they're anxious, state championship game. They're going to come hard on a pass rush. Excellent call right off the bat. They always are excellent calls when they work.
Splitting out wide to the right is Jason Smith. Receiver in the slot is Callis. This time over here intended for Smith. Couldn't hold on. Well, if it's an indication when we talk to both coaches as we look at the rest of the offense up front, Tyson Naylor, the only junior right there. Steve Gall, Jeremy Dodson, Scott Robinson listed as the right guard, and Waldschmidt at 275 over there at right tackle. And there you see a little play.
Last time I saw one of those was on my wrist in college, but
Tom Matty's
during the
wrist.
game.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what course it was in.
Second and 10 now. Ah, Jack. And the pitch back. This is Burnside with some room. Led around the corner by Furtich, as well as number 41, Ken Jackson, as we take a look at the starting defense for Waterloo. A couple of Gregson brothers in there, Jeremy and Jamie. They're both 175, and the other's 270. That's Jamie. Reese and Evans make up the rest of that front four. We'll get to the rest of the defense in just a minute. Brings up a 3rd down and 4. Opening drive of the game. 10 minutes, 25 seconds to go. That is Pontiac on the attack. This is Heath Dodson, his first carry. Breaks into the secondary before Furtich brings him down. 1st down yardage again for the Indians. Trevor Gahn in on the stop as well. Ryan Wilson, too. Good breakout into the secondary as the runner was stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Tough team to defend against with all the various formations they throw at you. They've just about covered the gamut here in this first drive with various formations. And they shift into them, shift out of them.
Callis right, Smith left. The receivers, that's Callis in motion.
Touchdown.
Complete Smith. The combination has worked all season long, and there it worked for 40 yards. The 15th touchdown of the year for Jason Smith, and for Reggie Kennedy, he has thrown for 19. Perfect slant in, Jack.
Really did a nice job of looking the safety off. You'll watch the motion man. They don't make a real good adjustment. He runs underneath the safety right here. You can see that the coverage with the motion threw him off, threw the ball, took a little bit off and got it right in the seam.
There's Reggie Kennedy, and there is his reaction.
Nice drive going down the field. Real good play selection.
And Jason Smith will attempt the extra point out of the hold of Reggie Kennedy and out of Callis' hold. Let's see if they can make something out of this.
Got him open.
Complete. Touchdown. So number 87, Aaron Stewart, the tight end. The busted play worked beautifully. Just the way Mick Peterson drew it up, Jack.
Well, you know, you do practice those plays. They're called help calls. He's got a bad snap. Now they react. The wingman and the tight ends go out in a route. I mean, they're out there for a reason because he yelled help or fire and makes a nice catch. Picks up 2 points.
Well, it also helps when your holder is the backup quarterback, as Jeff Callis is. And we'll show it to you here. This was not a designed play. This was a busted play. The snap was high.
That's the backside tight end coming across in the direction that he sprinted. and he makes the throw and picks up the 2 points. Nice play.
Five plays, 63 yards, 218. And once again, they succeed in the red zone. As we get our terminology here.
I'm getting impressed, Mike. I'm very impressed. Of course, the way their offense goes, it's the red zone anywhere on the field.
Yeah. Well, Smith will kick it off now. Verdich and Ben Neff back to receive. This is Neff.
He had a pretty nice seam up there if he had one more step or two.
Check it, that's Trevor Gahn, who took it, number 23. And returns the ball 19 yards up to the 30. And so, after a 3.5-minute drive, Waterloo, by Pontiac, Waterloo will get a chance to work.
They're a little more run-orientated than Pontiac.
There is Tony Furtish, the quarterback. And they give it to Altus right up the middle. And that is Matt Altus. Furtish, John Lane, Ben Neff, Matt Altus. There are your backs. And Gardner Murphy, Gregson, Eric Beck, Reagan Evans, and Ryan Wilson up front.
It's a heck of a start for Altus since he only carried the ball 27 times the entire season, and he gets a big first down run on his first carry in the state championship game. Counter.
This is Neff. And Ben Neff on the counter, brought down by Heath Dotson. First time Waterloo has had the ball. Brings up a second down and 6.
Both.
Taking a look at the defense. Trost, Vogt, Roberts, Aaron Stewart, Reggie Kennedy, and Brett Graves back here. Second down play, and this time Furtish takes it all by himself, and he gets close to first down yardage. Looks like he got it.
Same look as the last play. They gave the counter fake, only he kept the ball this time and did a nice job coming close to the first down.
And there's the defense. Heath Dotson, Pulliam, Turner, Jeff Callis, and Jason Smith. Several players going both ways here. 5 of them for Waterloo. And 4 for Pontiac. 3rd and 2. And the quick handoff good for first down yardage and more. Into the secondary once again, Ben Neff with the stop made by Callis.
Here it comes at you right now, just a lead play off tackle. Nice job of securing the line of scrimmage. They're not getting a lot of movement, but they're getting a lot of stalemates. With the footing they have, that's the best you can do at this point. You're not going to drive them off the ball because you can't get any traction. Stalemates are all you can ask for.
Lane and Altus, the backs, and this is a big defensive stop. Ball is loose, but the official says that the ball was down. As Ben Neff once again has been doing the bulk of the work right here.
See right here, they're just kicking out. Got a slant from the defensive tackle, but didn't have a heck of a lot of running room. Keep your eye on the offensive and defensive lines. Let's see what kind of movement we get, how much the traction has played a part in the ball game as it did in our first game, as this field freezes up.
Call of the gate of 1 brings up a 2nd and 9, and they've got the I formation now. And here's the pitch to the tailback, John Lane. And John Lane, the leading ground gainer for this team for the year with over 1,000 yards. Gets a few before Reggie Kennedy comes up to meet him and say hello. 6 minutes, 35 seconds to go, first quarter. And it's 8-0 for Pontiac. Well, this is what we were greeted by as we walked in this morning. Field covered with snow, but then after they plowed, they found a sheet of ice underneath. They salted the field after that, and it's still pretty iffy. Third down play here for Waterloo. Once again, Lane. Verdich leading the blocking. That's an all-purpose quarterback, Jack.
Boy, I guess it is. And the other part of that is you can see it a nice running lane, but you just can't get the traction to get that spurt to power on through there to get in the open field. You got to really watch. The backs really got to take shorter strides just to keep their traction. You can see him doing that right now. He's not really striding out, because if he does that, he's going to slip and fall. So they're doing the best they can, but he picked up the first down.
Got it by a couple of inches. There's the close-up of John Lane. Only 175 pounds, but again, rushed over 200 times this year, averaged about 5 yards a carry. He can also catch a pass or two. And what I like there, Jack, from the quarterback club, is the way Tony Verdich led the blocking.
Well, it's nice to have a quarterback that wants to get himself dirty and lead the parade.
And the whistle blows before Neff carries the ball.
I think the left guard got a little false start there.
Dead ball foul, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty.
That's Gene Fowler of Oak Forest. He is the referee in this crew. And that will cost Waterloo
Watch the
5 yards.
Left guard, I think. I'll be darned. The old eyes are still hanging in there so far. Coach has never missed those offsides.
Oh, my.
Big splits on the left side here.
First and 15. And coming up to meet Ben Neff, just about the whole front line and a little bit of the secondary. Dotson was in there. Trost, Albert Trost, 230 pounds, 6'2", the man Mick Peterson calls his stud. There he is.
Well, he really jammed. They tried to run a trap inside, but the man that was supposed to cut him off never got to him, and consequently he made the play in the backfield.
No gain on that play, so it'll be a second down. Still about 15 for the first. Verdich to throw.
Got a man open. Great pass defense.
Well, Neff was there. Check it. Intended, Jeremy Turner was there. Steve Gardner, the intended receiver, the tight end. Turner in there on the coverage along with Jason Smith.
Pretty decent play action fake. He puts the ball on the money right here, but a real nice play by number 21, Jeremy Turner. Watch him just get his hand right up there. And makes the deflection on Steve Gardner. Gardner almost comes up with the ball right here. Would have been a great catch. But that was just a better job of defense by Jeremy Turner. 5'6", 150-pound senior.
Third down now from the Pontiac 35 for Waterloo. Only one change of possession so far here in this first quarter. Pontiac scored on its possession. Now here's Waterloo on the double reverse.
He's got room.
Ooh, this is gone. Trevor Gahn on the reverse, almost was. Gets the ball down across the 20, and we'll see it again.
Quarterback again leading the parade here. It looked great defensive play here. Comes up, turns them back in. Looks like they don't have much, but he eludes the tackler. Makes a big play.
He's Dotson missed him. Jason Smith came along, but it's enough for a first down. 12th play of the drive. And the ball on the 18, and there is Heath Dotson, who tried to arm tackle him there and came up with air. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go. First and 10 for Waterloo. On the 18. Lane with a quick hitter.
Big hole.
Inside the 10 to the 5. 13-yard gain, another first down. Jeremy Turner saved the touchdown there.
Left side of the line really did a nice job. The defense was on a slant, and the guards just caved down that tackle, and he hit up in there real quickly. A nice gain, puts him down deep into the territory on the 5-yard line.
Lane bulldogging his way for the Bulldogs, and now we've got a first and goal for Waterloo.
Power I formation.
Neff and Lane. Lane the tailback. And And again, it's Lane. He's got blocking. He's got space. Close to the goal line. Touchdown.
He just followed the right side of that offensive line and those two backs right up into the end zone.
After 13 plays, the final 5 yards for John Lane, his 8th touchdown of the season, and it's an 8-6 ball game.
Here it is right here. He's going behind Greg Evans, the right tackle, and Mike Regan, the right guard. Just pure power getting up in there. 5 yards out, and powers it inside. See this little extra effort right there. He crosses the plane. 6 points for Waterloo.
And Waterloo's going to take a timeout right here to discuss extra point strategy. We'll be back with more right now. 3:51 to go. The Bulldogs have scored. They trail it 8-6. Here's a look at Brent McKee. And McGee's got a decision to make here early in the ball game, and he has made it. Waterloo going for 2. Usually they kick it. Furtick, the quarterback, goes with Lane, and Lane gets stood up short of the goal line.
Came up 1 blocker short running to that side. I really kind of thought since they scored on that, they might give that look and come back to the other side. And he ended up coming up 1 blocker short on that side because they shifted the linebackers to the strength. You can see as we run into it right here, he's in pretty good shape until he gets right to that point right there. 1 guy short picking up that 2-point conversion. Watch everybody blocking down. Tight end's coming down. You can see him bouncing out.
And Reggie Kennedy wraps him up.
A quarterback that wants to hit people.
That was the first 2-point conversion attempt all season long for Waterloo. So they come up short, and they are still down a couple of points now, 8-6. The Bulldogs trail.
Interestingly, they wouldn't have had to try that if it hadn't been for a bad snap by Pontiac, because Pontiac didn't want to go for 2 either.
How much that decision will bear on the rest of this ball game, of course, is a question which we will not be able to answer for quite some time. There's a good look at Reggie Kennedy, who just saved that tying 2-point conversion on the defensive side.
Looks like John Elway, doesn't he?
I'm telling you, left-handed
Orange
John
brush.
Elway, yeah. Got the same numbers, same colored jersey and everything.
Same stats.
Tim Keefe will kick it off, and he hits a grounder picked up by Heath Dotson, the short man. And Dotson, again, good field position for Pontiac, and Tony Furtick. These are very durable quarterbacks. They're working each end of the field. 12-yard return. Let's go down to Joe Passion.
One of the great issues on a turf like this with the iciness of the field, and it is getting icier and more icier as the evening goes on, are the turf shoes. As you can see, a lot of different players here, for example, from the Pontiac team, they brought their own shoes. Most of the shoes they wore during the year. Now, Pontiac played on this Hancock Stadium turf 3 times during the season, but certainly not under these conditions. As for Waterloo, they actually went out and bought some new shoes for some of the players that chose to use them. They're using them right now. Guys, back to you.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. And clipping infraction on that run back, so the field position changes somewhat. The ball goes back to the 18-yard line of Pontiac for the Indians, which is where Reggie Kennedy and company will start. This only their 2nd possession. 3:46 to go here in the first quarter.
They're shifting now, which makes the defense slide a little bit.
Pressure in the slot, and they throw it to Jake Pressure, and Furtick wraps him up.
See, there's your clip right there by number 14. This is a read here. I think he wanted to see who was covering the slot. There was nobody on the slot. He was off, and he just dumped the ball to him here for a nice pickup. Call the audible.
And Jake Pressure, 5'9" senior receiver, makes the catch. It'll be 2nd and 1. Again, they shift. Burnside in motion. Tried the same thing this time to Smith. And short yardage, but good enough for the first down. Jason Smith making that play. Brad Altus on the stop, number 44 for the Bulldogs of Waterloo.
They like to throw the ball. Just a little fake here, and he goes right back with just his little stop route right out here. Got the tackle coming out. It's like a quick screen to the flanker. He's got the split end or the slot man blocking as well as the tackle.
Clock now restarts with 2:45 to go first quarter. 8-6 ball game. Pontiac with the lead in the ball. And the quick hitter, the quick trap. Burnside still going. And Jim Burnside on an excellent fake by Kennedy. Burnside going right up the middle on the trap. And he gets the ball out close to midfield. A gain of 14 yards.
Nice job. A little counter here. Misdirection coming back. Guards trapping here. And here's Burnside, 5'10" and 155-pound junior. Nice run. He gained 785 yards during the season on 116 carries. You can see why. Tough little runner.
That looks like Van Neff over there for Waterloo.
Could be changing shoes. Or
meanwhile, back to action from their own 48. Pontiac again on the drive here. 1st and 10. Kennedy has this one deflected and falls short of the intended receiver.
Same route
Dallas.
they ran for the touchdown, Mike. Only they got a little better. Secondary coverage was a little better. He's going to the inside man out of the slot here, and he just gets his hand or the ball deflected right there just as he was about to throw it.
Yeah, we could see that really well there, that one of the defensive linemen. And that's only the first incomplete pass Reggie Kennedy has thrown. He's 4 for 5. There's Tony Furtich. Again, quarterback for all seasons. Leads the blocking, makes the handoff, throws the passes. Now he's playing in the defensive secondary. 2nd down play here. Once again, it's Burnside. And Jim Burnside is having a good day. Brought down in there by number 83, Jeremy Gregson. Burnside, not a particularly big back at all, 5'10", 155, but again, good rip right here, Jack.
Just a little counter coming back, showing a lot of versatility in their offense. They not only do it with the formations and the motion that they use, but by the actions in the backfield with the counters and the traps and the misdirections.
Pickup of 7 makes it 2nd and 3 from the 46-yard line of Waterloo. This time it's Kennedy on the keeper, and he'll get maybe a yard and a half.
Reggie Kennedy rushed 102 times this year for 550 yards and 16 touchdowns. So he's just as capable running the ball as he is throwing the ball.
Gene Fowler, the referee, conferring here. Now they go to a quick
fake. He's got a man wide open.
And there is Callis.
They never found Faker. They never covered the split ends over there, and they have an audible. And they went to the uncovered man and threw the ball.
17-yard gain on the fake.
And those are planned plays. He saw he was open over there. You could see where they were blocking. Nobody went downfield, because had he thrown it and they were downfield, it would have been eligible lineman downfield. So these are plays that are worked on.
Jason Smith threw the ball.
You see that?
From the 25 of Waterloo now. Again, 1st down. And again, this is Heath Dotson. And Dotson rips off another 1st down chunk, plus Furtich and Gahn making the stop, but all the way down to the 10-yard line, Heath Dotson, Chad Steening in with a little bit of help there too.
Just an option. He finds the seam and gives it to him, and he beats that linebacker right there. The versatility of their offense, as far as the amount of things that they do, keeps those linebackers off balance. They don't know whether they're dropping the coverage or take the option or come up on an isolation. They really do a good job. Mick Peterson does a great job in play selection, keeping Waterloo off balance.
1st and goal from the 10. We get a whistle here. Let's see what this is all about. 4 seconds still showing on the clock for the 1st quarter. See if we can pick up Gene Fowler here.
Red ball foul, false start on the offense. Still first down.
Now that'll cost him 5.
Well, 5 yards is down in here can get pretty stingy. Now Pontiac has averaged over 30 points a game, and yet defensively they've only given up 12 a game, and this is through their entire 13-game schedule so far.
All right, they let the clock run down. That's the end of the first quarter. Pontiac is driving. They lead this Class 3A championship by a score of 8-6. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back as you look at Brent McGee, the coach of Waterloo. Coming back to start the second quarter, it is first down and goal from the 15-yard line for Pontiac. The Indians leading by a score of 8-6. We start the second quarter here at Hancock Stadium. Mike Lederman, Jack McInerney, Joe Passion on the field. Hope you're enjoying this one. Dotson. And Heath Dotson gets some good yardage inside the 10.
Kind of got the feeling
on the stop. I'm sorry, Jack.
I've kind of got the feeling off of this drive that they really, that Mick Peterson really feels as if his offensive line is handling them up front, and you know, they're just running right at him and doing a good job.
Gain of 8. Call it second and goal from the 7. Once again, give to the first man through. It's Dotson. Touchdown.
As I mentioned, they're handling them up front. They're just running right at them.
Heath Dotson, 5'11", 185-pound senior, goes the final 7 yards for the second touchdown for Pontiac.
Real nice job of zone blocking up here. They're blocking down on the linebacker, and the tackle didn't squeeze down in time and ran up in that seam and picked up 6. Nice job of running, nice job of blocking.
Well, Jason Smith will try the point after here. Again, the first time they tried this, Jeff Callis took the high snap and threw for 2. This time the kick takes the shortest route between 2 points.
It certainly did. It's a good thing there was no icicles hanging up there. It would have knocked it down. And then it stuck in the snowbank like a lot of my 8-irons do. Only it's in sand.
Now we have a conference here, maybe both teams would come up the field, but there is some conferencing among the officials. Let's see if there's anything there. Guess not. All right, we'll take a look at Gene Fowler. Now we'll take a look. 82-yard drive, the second time that Pontiac's had the ball, second time they've scored. 8 up over 4 minutes on the clock, with Heath Dotson doing the final 7 yards for the touchdown and a 15-6 second quarter lead in this, the 3A championship.
Real good consistency in the drive, calling traps to the outside, throwing the ball a little bit, coming back with counters. A real good job of mixing up the play selection and also keeping the defense off balance with the formations that they're using.
Jason Smith will kick off. And looking deep is Tony Furtich, along with Trevor Gahn. This is going to Gahn's side of the field. And Trevor Gahn finds the seam. Excellent return by Trevor Gahn. Tremendous blocking opening up the hole, Jack. 31-yard return out around the 40-yard line.
It looked like he was pinned in here in the corner, and then he found a little seam. And actually what he did is he got to that dry surface and was able to cut and accelerate through the ice right here. And he looked for a minute like he was gone.
So Waterloo now with good field position on the 40. They'll start trailing 15-6. Furtich the quarterback. And they give to the running back Lane. Short yardage there. Let's go down to Joe Passion.
During the week, Waterloo's defense challenged this team here on the near sideline, Pontiac, their offense, because Waterloo shut out 6 teams this year. and they said they'd only score 1 touchdown against them. Well, Pontiac's coach, MICK PETERSON, told me before the game, their players know that, they're going to remember that and take it into the game and show Waterloo early in the game that they'll score more than 1 touchdown. They just did. Back upstairs, guys.
All right you are, Joe. Short gain of 1 brings up a 2nd down from the 41-yard line, their own 41. Once again, it's Lane. And again, short yardage.
Those are the kind of comments that the coach wants to keep in the locker room and not get out into the newspapers.
Brett Graves, junior linebacker, making the stop on John Lane. Good varied attack here from Waterloo. Again, only 3 possessions so far in this game, so we'll see if Waterloo now can come back and get a score. Both teams with protracted drives. Under 10 minutes to go here in quarter number 2. Furtage. Swarming defense led by Heath Dotson. And also Aaron Stewart, who made the penetration.
Well, that was a great time to call a stunt because they had a man wide open deep, and had they not fired the linebackers on that, they would have had 6 points if we could have got the ball downfield. Just a quick fake here. The backside split end was all the way down the field by himself.
But Furtage never had a chance on that. Aaron Stewart leading the charge, and Dotson coming in for the sack. So this will be the first punting situation. Gardner will punt. Averaged about 25 yards a kick, so not known for almost blocked. May have gotten a piece of it. And the ball goes out of bounds. No, it comes back and it rolls inside the 40-yard line. A good roll for Waterloo after that punt nearly blocked. Still, it only traveled 21 yards. Didn't get a chance to see who the actual man who made the penetration was. We'll see it here.
Let's see if he actually gets by the ball first. He does. He went past the ball.
Heath Dotson right there, almost.
Well, just watch. He actually gets such good penetration. He goes past the kicker right there and not across the ball.
But better that than hitting the kicker.
Absolutely.
What coaches teach you to go across the way, take that angle. So now Pontiac from its own 40, leading 15-6. Pressure in motion. Reggie Kennedy.
Got a post again. Oh!
Wide open. He had Smith with nothing but stripes in front of him.
He got a flag down.
But it probably is moot because there is a penalty marker down. That play's been open for him all night long.
You know, Jason Smith gets in that seam. He had 45 catches for over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. But the key is, just take a look at Jason Smith right now in the middle of your screen right there. There's nobody there except the official.
Oh, my. But it doesn't matter because it's going to go against Pontiac.
He averaged over 24 yards a catch this season on 45 catches. So that kind of tells you about how explosive he is and how often they go deep with him.
Illegal motion against the Pontiac Indians. So instead of that incomplete pass, it's 1st and 15 now, back on the Indians 35. Penalty situation, only 1 on Waterloo, 3 on Pontiac. Cleveland to throw again. Kennedy, I should say. And this time Smith makes a much tougher catch. Good for about 10 yards.
Nice throw, nice route. He ran a comeback route. He ran the corner off deep, planted in the ice. You'll see him at the top of your screen planting right there and coming back to the sidelines right now on an angle. Just a comeback route, well thrown, well executed.
Reggie Kennedy hooks up with his favorite receiver one more time, so it was a gain of 11, 2nd down and 4 from the 46. Smith out to the right along with pressure. Going into the slot is Jim Burnside. Dotson the lone setback. Dotson gets 1st down yardage before he's brought down by the brothers Altus, Brad and Matt, 33 and 44, along with, we must give credit to Jeremy Reese, since a relative of his, Brett, is doing the spotting for us, along with Don DeLuga over on the Pontiac side. We thank them both.
Well, this is one of the bigger offensive lines that we've seen. They average 219 pounds, 6'1" on that offensive line, and they're doing a pretty nice job up there. They've got linemen that are 225, 230, 240. That's pretty good size.
Callis to the left, Smith to the right, ball on the midfield stripe. If you can see the stripe, trust us. Smith again. Jason Smith slipping tackles, finally brought down by Altus, but not before he gets half the yardage to the goal line. A 25-yard pickup. I'll make it 21.
Now this is just a 3-step drop, and actually if he's down when he catches the ball, it's a 5-yard gain. It's what he does when he gets the ball. Take a look at these moves right here. He can run, no doubt about it, with that 24-yard average per catch. Just a quick little slant in, a little curl route, and a quick step.
Now Ryan Wilson, the linebacker, will miss him, and Mike Regan will finally come in and make the stop. So 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. Pontiac driving again with the touchdown plus lead. And the whistle. Dodson went in motion, and once again Gene Fowler blew the whistle, and it looks like it'll go against the Indians.
Too much time. You know what's interesting here, Mike, that we don't have in the normal high school games, there is the 25-second clock at either end of the field, so the quarterbacks can look at that if they're so inclined, and he just didn't get the playoff on that.
Split backfield now.
Same play.
Dodson in motion again. Kennedy.
He's got him wide open.
And there is Smith. 34 yards. They couldn't make it look any easier.
It was an interesting call. Waterloo was in a cover 2. They had a safety on the hash mark, and they had Jason Smith split wide, and they ran the fullback in the flat, and they got caught up in the coverage, and he just went right up the sideline, and the safety rolled up instead of rolling deep. Jason Smith's wide open for 6. You kind of watch him look away, and that takes the safety out of the picture just momentarily, and he can't make the play. You saw the safety right over there. He looked away, couldn't come back to make the play. Nice throw.
Smith will try to finish off his own scoring drive. And this one is blocked. So the kick is no good. Meanwhile, Pontiac very much in the driver's seat. 6:55 to go in the half. The Indians lead Waterloo 21-6. Well, the Pontiac Indians having the upper hand here, 21-6. They have scored all 3 times they've had the ball. And they prepare now to kick off from south to north to Waterloo. Tony Furtich back along with Gahn. There is Furtich. And Smith kicks this one right down the middle. This will be gone. Had a good return the last time. This is Furtich. Check it. And Tony Furtich. Again, a good return. Gets the ball up close to the 45-yard line. 32-yard return. Brett Graves coming in to make the stop. And once again, Jack, Waterloo's got good field position off the kick return.
They do. They do a nice job on the return. You can see the Waller coming back, and they're kicking people out and creating a running lane. And the timing of it actually is set up because the ball is hitting the ground. It might have been a little too quick. It had been caught in the air.
Furtich now with a quick handoff, and Neff has the ball escape him, but the ball is ruled down, covered up by Furtich anyway. As Ben Neff gets nothing. Let's go down to Joe Passion on the field.
Well, a lot of people wondering why Pontiac's playing so well. These 3 may be part of the reason. They brought their own heaters with them. They're the only school that's done it thus far, and Well, since I'm down here, I thought I'd take a little advantage of it myself, and I'll tell you what, it does wonders for brats.
Oh, Joe, that's why vaudeville died, Joe.
Very good. Guys, upstairs, I'll save you some.
Oh, Joe, I tell you. And then, look at this.
Bats down the pitch.
Touchdown, Pontiac.
Frank Pulliam.
The defensive back, 35 yards, stealing the pitch from Furtich. Pulliam, part of that very complex Pontiac defensive system.
Watch him come up, and he extends his arm right here. He's got the quarterback, but he saw the pitch coming, extends the arm, knocks it down, gets the big bounce, and Frank takes it in.
Boy, he must have been watching the Bears game, doing his Neil Smith impression right there.
You see right there, that's a heck of a football play by Frank Pulliam.
Now, it's important to know in high school ball, you can advance the ball in the backfield if the ball is fumbled and bounces on the turf.
That's correct. 5'6", 140-pound senior, Frank Pulliam, big touchdown.
Now, Kennedy will try this point after, and it goes right through.
That's a real backbreaker for Waterloo to have something like that happen. Because they haven't been playing that badly, but now they're really got their hands full.
28-6, 5:41 to go. You see that statistic right there in the bottom of your picture. That's the clock. And Pontiac is just making Waterloo eat its own.
Well, it's interesting. This kind of is the same scenario that we had in that first ball game. A lot of scoring early, and unfortunately by one team prior to the half.
Boy, you got to give a lot of credit to that Pontiac defensive line. They've got an uncle and a nephew next to each other. Albert Trost is the uncle, and number 42, Pat Vogt, is his nephew, huh? Oh, interesting statistic right there.
Family trees.
Yes, sirree. Smith winds it up on the left hash this time, and it will go close to out of bounds, and it goes out of bounds in front of Trevor Gahn. So this ball will be spotted back upfield.
Joe finished that brats down there.
I think he's going to be paying for that later.
I hope he doesn't turn a some lunch ticket in on his expense account now, because they're on to him.
Well, they will re-kick this one, take it back to the 35. And there it. Oh, look,
there's Joe. Now keep that in mind now when he turns in a receipt that he ate out at some steakhouse.
Some steak joint, yeah. It's been a long day. We can forgive Joe.
I don't appreciate him down there eating my dinner, because you guys are going out, and that's what I'll be eating.
Well, once again, they come over to the left hash, and there is Trevor Gahn. He's had a good kickoff return. There is Jason Smith.
He's had a heck of a ball game.
2 touchdowns so far.
And dropped one.
Yeah. Right to Trevor Gahn on the 20.
Oh,
once
he's
again,
gone.
One man to beat.
He's gone. He lives up to his name. No.
Closing quickly. What a play. Coming up by Pontiac. Let's see if we can. Was that Burnside, number 25, who got him? Jim Burnside really closing quickly. 63-yard kickoff return. Actually, that saving tackle was made by Pressure, number 85. Jake Pressure coming in.
They have done a great job on the kickoff returns. Almost every kick has almost been busted. They really obviously spend some time on their special teams, because they have done a real nice job on these returns.
Meanwhile, Waterloo gets a tremendous jolt of adrenaline here. Let's see if they can make something of it. This is John Lane, but once again, he is met by the right side. Uncle and nephew Vogt and Trost along with Brett Graves put the first hit there.
Brett Graves is the leading tackler on this very tough defense. Let's take a look at him. Number 44, the bottom right corner of your screen. He plugs the hole, comes up hard. 44 solos, 34 assists, 6 foot, 175-pound junior. Nice job of filling.
Clock ticking, under 5 minutes to go. First half here. Second down after the gain of 1. Ball's on the 16. Power I set in the backfield. Second man through, and again short yardage. Ben Neff stopped by Reggie Kennedy. Trost and Vogt. What are you saying? Vogt is from a family of 7 kids? My God, they can staff a whole school.
From a family of 17. Under the same roof? Holy moly.
Don DeLuga is up here spotting, the retired athletic director over at Pontiac. If anybody would know, he would know. There's the first down situation now. 3rd and 8 here. Key situation in this one for Waterloo. Again, the power I. Furtage.
Bootleg. One man to beat.
Blocked on Callis, and Furtage. Touchdown.
Nice call. They haven't gone away from the flow, and they only needed a yard, and he goes with the short yardage look and comes back with a bootleg to the other side. Takes it in. A nice job of blocking by the guard.
Now there's Furtage scoring his touchdown now. That's his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. And once again, Waterloo's going to try the 2-point conversion. Furtage the other way this time.
See, that was a smart play by Furtage, though, because you don't want to get sacked on an extra point because it's not going to do anything. He just tried to get rid of the ball.
Well, the kick failed. The pass failed, we should say. The touchdown, though, a thing of beauty.
You can see right here, Eric Beck, or excuse me, that's number 64, Mike Reagan throwing a nice block, the pulling guard there on the bootleg. Mike Reagan, 225 pounds.
Callis and Kennedy on the same play.
See right here, they're really playing the tight end. They've got him in double coverage. He's got nothing to do but to dump the ball off.
Well, meanwhile, with 3:49 to go, Waterloo is coming back. 28-12. Of course, the big, I think, motion, the big play for Pontiac, that first conversion that started with a kick turned into a busted play, and it turned into a 2-point conversion instead of a 1-point or no points there.
Well, it's important here that Waterloo had scored prior to the half, because at the last play, Ben, that batted down pitch that he took in for a touchdown, you've got that emotional change going into halftime, but now they're able to change the momentum a little bit.
Pat Keith kicks it off.
It's a wall up the sideline.
Burnside. The Burnside makes that turn. Jimmy Burnside again could go all the way. And Burnside dragged down across midfield. And this has been the best of high school kickoffs, 1993, a 37-yarder on that one.
You know, and he went from the far side of the field all the way across to this wall. Now he's running past. Normally when you tell him you catch it on this far hash mark and the wall's over there, get up the field. You can see the wall being set up, and he really almost pops it right there. That's a good job by number 20, slowing him down, Ryan Wilson. But both these teams do a great job on special teams.
Well, here we go again. In Waterloo territory at the 41, Reggie Kennedy and company looking for more. They've just been scored on. They still lead it 28-12.
Got him deep. He's got him.
Smith again.
Ooh, nice play.
Well, Smith had to wait for that one. Meanwhile, Trevor Gahn had a chance to come up and make the defensive play, which he did, and did well.
Well, Jason Smith, you can see the rotation right there. They're hoping or they're catching him in a switch, and he's really got the angle. If the ball been delivered a little sooner, he's got 6 points, but it hung up in the air a little bit, and Trevor Gahn came over and made a nice play. Good job. Good defensive play.
Gahn 5'10", going against Smith, who's 6'2".
But the ball only went 5'9".
Yes, it did. I back set. Dodson again over the right side. Short yardage. Bring up a third down, about 7. And you see so far Pontiac's been perfect on his third down conversions. Waterloo hasn't been bad.
Not too shabby.
No.
These are two good football teams. Big plays have made the difference here.
Well, Mick Peterson is up next to that gentleman who's one of the assistant coaches. There's Mick Peterson. Well, you can't see him, but he's still in the press box. And let's pick up 3rd and 7 down here as his team is on the march again. Kennedy. And there it is again. Oh, Jason Smith had to come across the field. Kennedy had a lot of time to throw.
A couple of things on that. He had a lot of time to throw the ball because he came across the field in motion and then broke all the way back. Now you can see him going across the top of your screen, but that's quite an athlete to be able to throw the ball back and just lay it up in the air. That's a great catch right there by Jason Smith. And that's one of the reasons why he had over 45 catches during the regular season.
Well, we've just been also told that Mick Peterson has descended from his perch in the press box and is now on the sideline. And the ball now 1st and 10 on the 12 following another hookup. Kennedy to Smith. Burnside gets stood up at the line of scrimmage. He will make it down to about the 10-yard line. Call it a gain of 2. Jeremy Reese in on the stop. Minute 35 to go here in the first half. Pontiac 28, Waterloo 12. Joe Passion will be talking to both coaches at halftime. And Pontiac looking for more here in the final minute 25 as the clock is running. 2nd down 8. Kennedy, pitch to Burnside. Wrapped up by Burdich. Chad Steening assisting on the tackle.
Nice job of running the option by Reggie Kennedy. You can see right here, he draws the man to him just before he pitches it. If he had a little better job of that stalk block downfield, would have had 6 points, but that's a pretty good football play right there. You can see right here, the pitch man, you can see right there, what he did is he went to help the other guy supposed to be on the quarterback. You have to go to your assignments. Just that hesitation was enough not to be able to get the angle on that pitch man. He was consequently able to get around the corner and come real close to picking up that 1st down.
They are about a foot shy of that 1st down. There is a minute 2 on the clock. They're going to reset it here now, reset the chains. But they are about 1 foot short. This will bring up a 3rd down play, 1 for a 1st down, 3 for a touchdown.
Looks like when Green Bay was playing Dallas in that Ice Bowl that year.
Callis and Smith to the right, and Reggie Kennedy's just going to wedge him out here, as they say, and get the 1st down. They've got all 3 of their timeouts left.
Let's see the surge here, those orange jerseys. Pretty good surge for not real good traction. Picks up the 1st down and takes the ball down about the 2-yard line.
Well, you can see feet skidding there in the back toward the goal line.
Going to measure again here. Apparently he wasn't as far beyond that point as we thought.
They go with a rhino backfield in these short yardage situations. They
picked it up. 1st down.
With Kennedy, Trost, and Vogt as part of that short yardage package. And Callis would probably be the quarterback here, number 5. So this is a strategy that they use. And Callis now comes over to talk to Mick Peterson. 1st down situation. And they go with Dodson in the backfield and the Rhinos. And they give it to Dodson. Pontiac says he's got a touchdown, and so do the officials. Heath Dodson
Well, there's not a lot of trickery there. They just come right at you. They're coming on the left side of the line. You can see everybody blocking down. Fullback and the lead back just kicking out. Just a power play off tackle, and he gets enough to get in. See right here, number 42, they're both taking down that safety that's sitting in that C gap.
Dodson taking Brad Altus with him, and 34-12 now. As Kennedy starts to kick, we get the whistle.
That was interesting. I mean, he came right through and landed right on the tee.
And
that's probably the reason why.
Yeah, Mike Reagan.
Look at this right here. Here he comes. And obviously he beats the snap. Watch this.
Oh, yes. Oh.
I'll tell you what, wasn't it a nice gesture of sportsmanship there by Reggie Kennedy not to kick him? I thought that was very thoughtful.
Well, now with the ball at the 1.5, they'll go for 2. And they'll do it with Dodson, but an excellent play by the same guy, Mike Reagan, who came in and atoned for his mistake, and boy, he had the last laugh on that one. So, 34 seconds to go. His teammates give Mike Reagan a little attaboy. We'll show you the touchdown one more time.
It's power eye to your left. They're blocking down. See the big tackle blocking down. The halfback kicking out. Fullback following. Just a nice job by Heath Dodson. Very close to getting in.
Has his knee hit. 7 plays, 41 yards, a bit over 3 minutes. Heath Dodson, his second touchdown of the evening, and we are at 34-12 with 34 ticks left on the first half clock.
You know, there seems to be a coach in every scenario that wears shorts in this kind of weather.
Yes, there is, and there's no doubt about it.
And sometimes I wonder if it's so that somebody says, there's a guy with shorts.
Yeah, well, Pontiac's got a guy who does that. We're going to see if we can get a shot of him. He's the defensive coordinator, David Young. Said he'll be wearing shorts. I guess he's got good gams. Is that the idea?
Well, either that or he's...
There's David Young. Yeah, well, you know, I'm not a good judge of guys' legs, Jack, and I think I'm going to leave that one alone.
What are you passing that one to me for? Am I supposed to be?
Oh, boy.
I do have a degree in guidance and counseling, and I think he needs a session.
On the kickoff again. Ball is loose. Still loose. And it looked like Furtich was the last to unpile there with the ball underneath him. So they're going to try to get off some plays here with 27 seconds and counting. Waterloo trying to make something happen, working from the spread. Furtich gets a nice gain. Again, they started 70 yards away from the goal line. Now 19 seconds to go. We'll see if this is a first down or not. Right now, no. It's about 2nd and 1. No. Again, it's tough to see those yard markers. Certainly it is.
Oh! That's a fumble.
Ball is on the ground. Was the ball going forward? No, it was not. And Pontiac has covered it again.
It looked like he wanted to throw a screen here. You can see they're chop blocking, and he just loses the ball.
They went to Tim Keefe, the backup quarterback again. This is the formation they use, and they try to get the ball to Furtich.
He just lost the ball right there.
Jeff Roberts, number 75. And with 13 seconds to go, Pontiac could try to punch another one in and really blow this thing wide open.
One nice long pass, and they certainly have the people to do it. Jason Smith has been open deep most of the first half, but you get a decent pass in there and go for the field goal.
Second turnover for Waterloo. The first, of course, led directly to the touchdown. That fumbled pitch that Pulliam ran in. 30 yards. And with 13 seconds to go, you would think they have one play, but
well,
they have
might,
more than one.
They could have 2 pass plays or even 3, but it depends on what he wants to do. I mean, if he wants to go for 6, goes up top and doesn't get it, then he might have to go for 6 or go for another bomb on the second one, or he could go for a mid-range play and then try and kick a field goal, but that's easier said than done.
3 receivers left. Smith in pressure. Split left. Kennedy looking. And that one goes into the arms of Smith, who was not the intended receiver, but he was out of bounds. Looks like he was throwing
just a flood route.
Yeah.
The flood route right here, which means that they would have looked for the field goal after that play. Now I'm sure they'll just throw it deep.
7 seconds left on the clock.
Maybe the proverbial Hail Mary. Is this a cat? There's no parochials in here, so wouldn't be that. Well, they could be.
Again, Smith, Callis come left. Burnside in the slot.
He's throwing it deep. He's going deep to him right now.
He's got Smith, who had a step on the defense. But again, he had to wait for the pass, and it was broken up by Waterloo, and that's the end of the first half. Still, it was quite a first half for Pontiac. And the score, the Indians 34 and Waterloo 12. Let's take a look at that last play again. Could have been touchdown number 3 real quickly.
Well, it doesn't take too many guesses to figure out where he's going. He's going to Jason Smith, his deep threat who catches those long bombs. And here's the situation here. The ball gotten up a little sooner. He might have had it, but pretty good coverage.
Chad Steening in there to make the deflection. Again, the ball was a little bit late getting there. But under these conditions, Pontiac will take a 34-12 lead. Now you look at the field right now, and again, it gets slicker and slicker, but you really couldn't prove it by the way these teams are playing, and I include Waterloo in that. Both teams seem to be handling the field well. They may be having a problem covering the ball. Let's go down to Joe Passion now. Joe.
Brent, beside wanting to thaw out with the rest of the crew inside, thoughts about trying to bring that offense back into this game?
Yeah, we just need to quit tiptoeing around some on our pass coverage and get a few assignments figured out. We can put some points on the board too, and that's what we're going to have to work on here at halftime.
All right, Coach, go get them. Thank you very much. Have a great second half. Brent McGee very anxious to get in the locker room, and I don't think it was merely to thaw out. Back upstairs, guys.
All right, Joe. Well, the situation here again, it certainly looks like a runaway in the 3A championship. Pontiac leads Waterloo by a score of 34-12. We'll be back with halftime activities and an update from the studio in just a minute.
Back here at Hancock Stadium, the Class 3A football championship game is at the half, and at the break, it's 34-12. The Cardiac Indians of Pontiac, who have gone down to the final minute of play in their last 3 playoff games to get to this championship game, are doing anything like that here this evening. They lead in a big way here at the break over their opponents from Waterloo, a team that has given up less than 5 points per game to their opponents during this season, and have had 6 shutouts. But defensively, they're falling apart here in the first half, but that's why there are 2 halves to a football game. Joe Passion back down here at Hancock Stadium on the sidelines with you, and want to remind you that coming up here after this break, we're going to be sending it back to Steve Cashel at our Sports Channel studios up in Chicago with highlights of the Prep Bowl game. Another win for Mount Carmel. They weren't here, but they did it where they were. Also updates on the Oklahoma-Nebraska game and other sports highlights coming to you. Defense has been actually a big way for the team that scored 34 points. They've had a lot of balance on both sides of the football. They'll try and bring that out in the second half, and we'll have that complete second half for you from Hancock Stadium, so stay with us. In the meantime, after this timeout, back up to Steve Cashel and all the other highlights in all the other sports. At the break, it's 34-12 Pontiac over Waterloo in this Class 3A state championship game.
Back at Hancock Stadium, the temperatures keep plunging, but nothing seems to be stopping the Pontiac offense. They lead at halftime 34-12, the Class 3A championship over the Bulldogs of Waterloo. And Jack, when we take a look at the highlights again, things started off on the first possession.
Well, they really did. I mean, he does a nice job of catching Jason Smith right in the seam, and it's been going on all through the first half. Smith has been outrunning the secondary, and Kennedy's been putting on the money. Here's a botched extra point. It turns into 2 points here by good reaction by the tight end. Comes across and gets the ball to him. 2 points.
Jason Smith picked that snap up, even though it went past the holder Callis. It went right into his hands. Waterloo came right back with a touchdown drive of its own. John Lane finishing it off here.
Does a nice job of powering up inside behind his 2 power backs, and a nice surge by the right side of the offensive line.
2-point conversion failed. It was 8-6. From then on out, it was just about all Pontiac. Heath Dotson, the first of his 2 touchdowns. And then Jason Smith from Reggie Kennedy again.
Got him wide open here. Missed coverage by the safety, and he's right down the sideline for 6 more.
21-6, and here was a backbreaker for Pontiac, or what Pontiac did to break the back of Waterloo. Frank Pulliam.
Frank Pulliam comes up, and he's got responsibility to quarterback, and he gets his arm out when he's about to pitch it, picks it up, and takes it in for 6 more.
Well, give the Bulldogs credit. They came right back with another touchdown drive of their own. Tony Furdage, the fine quarterback, will finish it off with a 10-yard run. Did you see a lot of celebration for Pontiac?
Furdage does a nice job here on a bootleg, and he comes in behind Regan. His big right guard throws a nice block for him, and he just runs for the flag in the corner.
And finally, in second quarter, drawing to the end, Heath Dotson, his second of 2 TDs.
Just kind of bounces it outside a little bit, and close enough, I guess.
I'm still not convinced he made it, but it was good enough for the officials. And you take a look, this is all Pontiac, and you look at that passing yardage, which, well, 174-0 in favor of the Indians.
And they've all been big bombs, and one of those was about a 60-yarder that was dropped that Jason Smith had beaten the safety and was wide open, so it could have been even worse than that.
Well, they had some luck running the ball at Waterloo, but that's been shut down too as time has gone on. Time of possession pretty close. Again, that's a statistic that has got to be meaningless. Penalties, Pontiac's had some, but hasn't seemed to slow them down. And both teams doing well on third down conversions.
They really have, but Pontiac just seems to be a bigger play team. And time of possession, when you're a big play team, doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot.
All right, well, we will have the second half coming up for you right here. Can Waterloo come back, or has Pontiac met the Bulldogs with their Waterloo? We'll find that out. The Pontiac Indians, known as the cardiac team of the playoffs, are resting easily so far. Boy, they won their semifinal game on a 30 seconds to go touchdown pass. Game before that, they won by a point. This time, Jack, a little bit different, and Joe Passion has got Mick Peterson with him, and let's go down to Joe.
I was down here, Mick Peterson taking up his part-time duty on the sideline. You came down late in the second half, and they scored a touchdown for you. The others were upstairs. How's it making a difference for your play calling?
Well, when I'm upstairs, Joe, I can see things as they're developing. I can see their coverages. I can see what I think they're going to try to do. But the enthusiasm and the excitement was a little bit too much for me to take up there, so I decided to come down for a little bit and see how it is down here in the sideline. It's actually pretty warm.
Oh, you know, it really isn't too bad down here, even though it looks kind of bad with all that ice out there. From what you saw upstairs, where are the weaknesses Waterloo is showing you that you hope to continue to take advantage of in the second half?
Well, our shifting is giving them problems. They don't know where we're going, and once we shift and then giving them motion, they don't know whether we're running or throwing, and we're getting great matchups. They've tried playing us man. They've tried playing us zone. They've tried blitzing us. Hopefully we can continue to execute, and we'll just see what happens this half. That's all I can say.
Any adjustment on your part that you want to see done on your ball club right here?
We'd like to cover kickoffs a little bit better than what we have, and I think this first possession of the third quarter is going to be very important. If we can hold them and take any momentum they might have out of the locker room away from them, then we should be able to, you know, hopefully we can control the line of scrimmage and get after and put the nails in the coffin.
All right, Coach, go get them.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks very much, Mick Peterson. And you can understand the enthusiasm in which the Indians play. They get it from the top dog, from the chief, of the Indians from Pontiac, Mick Peterson. He really does, and he'll be back upstairs, as you heard, for the second half, and we'll probably see him down here back, I would think, midway through the fourth quarter. In the meantime, we'll take it back upstairs right now to the boys upstairs in that nice warm booth. Mac, Mike?
From Mick to Mac and Mike. Thank you very much, Joe. I want to ask you, Jack, what do you think about that strategy? Obviously, it works for Mick Peterson of being in the press box for the overview as opposed to down on the sidelines.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You have absolutely the worst seat in the house when you're on the sidelines, and I've been in both positions.
As a coach, why don't more coaches do that?
Well, because you really don't have a feel for the game down there as far as you know, it's not so much that you're calling plays as that you are the orchestrator of the entire scenario down there. So you have to be down there to make certain decisions that you cannot make from the sideline, and you need to be able to talk to players that you can't do from up in the press box. So, you know, it's a great advantage to be up there, but sometimes the advantages of being up there can be outweighed by being on the sideline.
And maybe when you're upstairs, your assistants plot a coup down on the sideline.
Well,
you don't know about
it's a good place to be upstairs if you're not winning. You know, it's a better situation, but you know, that's not what we're concerned about at this point.
Well, there's Mick Peterson. He has a degree in journalism and in English. He taught English for several years. He is working on his master's thesis here at Illinois State on, guess what, a history of Pontiac football. And he said that was no blow-off thesis. There was very little recording of a 100-year-old tradition of a school. And he sold the folks here at ISU on doing
sold. That's a good term. Now, how are they going to authenticate? Is that the proper term?
Authenticate.
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 You know, you're a journalism major.
I absolutely never was.
All that material would be if there's no background in it.
Well,
kind of an interesting.
He's doing all that research, and there is a lot to be said for it. Coming up after this game, of course, the Class 4A final between Darnell of Geneseo and Marion Catholic. Stay tuned. Bill Gorley and Tom Stocker will bring you that one. And there you see Tony Furtich getting ready to take this kickoff back off the foot of Jason Smith. And I'll tell you what, if they gave you points for kickoff returns, this game would be a heck of a lot closer.
Well, both of these teams really have done a great job on special teams, and certainly in the kickoff area, kickoff receiving. They obviously spend some time on it.
Furtich and Trevor Gahn, the deep men. Smith kicks off to the north. Furtich. And this time, Mick Peterson's team covers the kickoff a lot better. A 19-yard return, though, and here Waterloo will turn Furtich into a quarterback right now. Again, these two quarterbacks both amaze me. The way they play both sides of the field. They do everything within the offense and the defense.
They really do a good job, and we mentioned in our pregame how versatile they are. And
they run back kicks, they kick off.
And how important they are to their ball clubs.
Furtich got to try to make something happen here.
Tipped.
And tipped away and taken away. Jason Smith, he's got 2 on receptions and now an interception. 27-yard run back, Jason Smith. And if you're Brent McGee, your team has got to be something to be other than crushed.
That's frustrating. They have that happen in the very first series coming out, but the ball was tipped.
Brent Graves, I think, will get a hand on a number 44. Let's watch it, Jack.
Right there. Good anticipation. Gets up. And there's Jason Smith, who's used to catching the ball, but now he's catching and going in a different direction.
From the 22-yard line of Waterloo, Pontiac in business again. Reggie Kennedy. Got Burnside and Dodson. This is Burnside. Jim Burnside met by that man Furtich again.
Real nice job here anticipating the throw, getting his hands up. It actually hit him right in the helmet. And Jason Smith coming up. And with his kind of speed, we didn't have a lot of ice down there. That could have been 6 more.
Give credit to Brett Graves right there.
Got a penalty here. Looked like roughing.
Well, we'll wait for the call, and here it is from Gene Fowler.
Personal foul On the offense, 15-yard penalty. Still first out.
Well, I didn't have any indication of what that personal foul was, Jack, did you?
No, I didn't.
And it's a big one, a 15-yarder, as they all are.
Now, that's a very generic term because, you know, it could have been taunting. It could have been quite a number of things.
Ball back on the 45. And it'll be 1st and 25. You see a lot of penalty yardage there against Pontiac. Callis in motion.
Screen.
Burnside. Burnside's got room. Oh, look at that. Jim Burnside, touchdown Pontiac. 45 yards, and what a display of running after the catch.
Really was a good call as far as the screen, but he made the play by being able to cut back and turning on what looks to be some real good speed. Jimmy Bernstein, 785 yards rushing during the season. He's only a junior, 155-pounder. You can see right there that threw him off a little bit, but this is a great angle here to watch him find the seam. He's just cutting back. He's not making any real big moves here, but right there he gets his feet under him so he doesn't slip and slide, and he just turns it on and takes it into the end zone.
Chad Steening was the defensive back who overran him, or overslid him, I suppose would be a better word there.
And interesting that the comment that Mick Peterson said about the first series of the half, they certainly got the momentum.
Kennedy now, another job for him. Will kick extra points.
Same play we had prior to the first half. Mike Reagan jumping offside.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Now this time they say he was drawn off. 3 touchdown passes for Reggie Kennedy, and here's the run after the catch that really made this play.
Does a nice job of cutting back and showing excellent speed right here.
Well, you see 3 white shirts fall on their faces between the traction and the fake and the cutback. Kennedy again out of the hold of Jeff Callis. 5 yards back, doesn't make any, never mind. 41-12. Start of the third quarter, 10:34 to go. Pontiac has got things well in hand. Well, there's the story. 41-12, the Pontiac Indians are in command. They had never won a playoff game prior to this season, and they are well on their way to winning them all. Trevor Gahn back deep for Waterloo with Tony Furdich. And there is Jason Smith.
Well, these kickoffs have been exciting thus far. Trying to kick away from Gahn.
Refusing to go down, number 34 was Chad Steening. Meanwhile, earlier today, this is the opening kickoff of the Class 1A. Ryan Becker, some 70 yards away for Calhoun High School, and he will not stop until he gets 6 points. This set the scene for a rout of Sterling Newman, 49-9. And we'll show you the two-way game in just a minute. Meanwhile, 1st and 10 on the 40. Furdich got to throw now. This little swing pass. Again, the ball is loose, and again, it's covered up by Pontiac. Jeff Callis.
It's just one of those days that all coaches toss and turn about. Well executed, but right there, he just loses it.
John Lane couldn't hold on to it, and you'll see Callis come up again. Another turnover, and nothing but orange shirts. 41-12, 9:44 and ticking to go here in the third quarter. Kennedy with Dotson the lone setback, and he dots it straight ahead for a couple of yards. The Class 2A, you see Coal City over Carlinville, and here is the final touchdown. Craig Van Dyne will scamper around the left side, 16-yard run, and Coal City, the 2A champion. Here, it's been all Pontiac, and the Indians on another turnover, 2nd and 8 from the 43-yard line of Waterloo. Aaron Stewart comes in at tight end. They split 3 receivers out wide, and Callis comes this way. Counter. Inside handoff on the counter to Burnside, and Burnside with Steening wrapping him up along with Brad Altus and Jeremy Gregson.
This is one of those ball games where a coach, where everything you call just seems to be going well. You see the counter right here with the wingback coming back and the trap, counter trap, but everything you call just seems to minimum pick up 4 or 5 yards, which is ideal, obviously.
And you can't blame the shoes. Both teams with the same kind of traction footwear, those molded rubber cleats.
It's who's in the shoes.
You bet. 3rd and 1 here. Dotson again gets into the secondary as that offensive line is just blowing away the defense for Pontiac.
Well, they're quite a bit bigger than Waterloo. You can just see the surge right here. They're just getting up off the ball. Of course, there's a hole right there that Mike, I think you or I could have gone through.
Or Bob Albrecht, our producer director,
well, that's
in the truck, and you could drive the Trio Video truck right through it.
Well, you know, Bob's got that bad leg. It'd be a little tough getting through that one.
Ball's on the 28 now. Again, another 1st down for Pontiac. Kennedy looking for more. Oh, Jason Smith almost had it, but a nice play to deflect it at the last minute by Trevor Gahn. And it looked as though Smith had it right in the breadbasket.
Well, it's interesting. Reggie just seems to be just kind of laying it in there and letting Jason Smith run underneath it, but he's taken so much off it that it doesn't have enough velocity to really get there. It's a good effort there. The momentum, actually, he has the ball, but it's what turns him around here with the momentum.
And a hand from Trevor Gahn right as he had to come back for the ball a little bit.
I'm surprised that could have been called a catch, but it wasn't.
7:59 to go.
So it isn't.
And it isn't. And Reggie Kennedy now 10 out of 14. See his numbers right there. On the ground, and Burnside with another huge hole. Jim Burnside. And Pontiac is absolutely incredible today. 2nd touchdown in a row for Burnside. On the other side, well,
it's tough to win 13, and then all of a sudden that 14th game turns into a rout like this.
That's a 3A record for points scored.
Mike, we're really sitting in some records today. The 1A was a point record.
Now let's double check that. I believe we do. And Reggie Kennedy adds point number 48.
Again, the offensive line doing an outstanding job. Watch him trying to get traction here. You notice how he pushes off at the wide side of his foot, just cuts back right here. You can see right there. He cuts back on the corner. The corner can't come back to make the play. And Burnside has another touchdown. Right here. Nice cut right there by Jason Burnside, 5'10", 155-pound junior. He's having an awful nice game for a junior running back.
Kankakee McNamara had the record of 45 points. That was set back in 1987.
We were here for that.
We were. I think that was our first year together.
I'll have to check my diary, Mike.
Oh, my. And there is Jim Burnside taking a well-deserved rest. It's not the shoes, it's not the heaters, it's just a lot of talent on that team. Well, that's not a bad day. 9 rushes, 75 yards, a little over 8 a carry, 2 touchdowns now.
I wouldn't mind getting my shoes shined by her. They've got nice girls on the sideline there. I wonder if they got so many kids out for football in Pontiac.
Well, the Indians will kick off again. And a couple of lonely return men are back there again, Trevor Gahn and Tony Furtich.
I would suggest to you, Mike, that we're going to start seeing a lot of substitutions, or certainly hope we are.
Backed up by Furtich, and Tony on the move here. Again's got a seam. Tony Furtich's got one man to beat, and Smith gets him. But Smith may have been hurt. Another excellent kick run back, but take a look at Jason Smith, very slow getting up.
They really do a great job on the return.
41-yard return there out to midfield, but watch and see. Jason Smith holds his ground but pays for it.
Watch how they all block out, and then they come up right here. You see just a nice big alley right here. There's the kicker doing a nice job of being under control and just letting the runner make the cut. You can see right there he just got a shoulder in the, or a knee in the shoulder.
Now boy, there is Reggie Kennedy. Here's a howdy do, putting the slammaroo on John Lane. Lane had some success early, but they have bottled him up along with the rest of the rushing offense for Waterloo. And Reggie Kennedy, remember we told you about his semifinal, 15 of 21 passing for 240 yards, 4 touchdowns. He rushed for a touchdown and had 2 interceptions.
Did a day's work, didn't he?
That's a season's work for a lot of folks. Gain of 2, call it 2nd and 8. Furtich inside to Neff, and Neff again on the counter. That worked early and maybe gets 3 more yards there. Bring up a 3rd down, about 5. Back down to Joe Passion. Joe, how are the hot dogs?
Well, the hot dog's getting a little cold later, but I am going to save that brat for you guys later on. One thing that this Pontiac team saved for this game was to show one of the best defensive teams in the state, at least the lower part of the state, that they can play offense. And they did it here today, putting on over 40 points on the board already, and we're still only halfway through the 3rd quarter. Keep in mind that Waterloo gave up double figures to opponents only twice this year, 13 and 14 points. But they're giving up everything today on their first game for Waterloo. First game Waterloo has played on turf all year long. Back upstairs, guys.
Albert Trost putting his big paws on John Lane. That'll bring up a 4th down and 7.
Pontiac really flows well to the football. They really get people on the ball and have done a nice job. Now Waterloo's trying to run a few counters, but with the type of defense they're running, a 4-4 and a 4-3, they got those linebackers quite a bit off the ball, and they're able to react quite nicely.
No real choice here on 4th down and 5. Waterloo without a 1st down so far this half. Will try for one here. And Trevor Gahn was slowed up by Dotson and never got out. Pontiac, as though they had somebody in the huddle, in the Waterloo huddle. The reverse just never got started.
Well, backside of the wide side of the field, they probably cross-read it, which means that they looked to see where Gahn was, knowing he was a speedster, and so the backside linebacker away from him stayed home looking for the reverse.
Well, here it is, Jack.
Just look at the backside right now. They really don't flow with the counter because they know they need to come back to the wide side. Usually on a reverse, when you got your fastest guy, they did a real nice job defending that.
So the ball goes over on downs at midfield on the loss of that play.
I think we're going to get a heap of substitutions here. We're trying to get these groups together.
5 minutes, 20 seconds to go. The Pontiac Indians on their way to their first state championship.
Looks like we've got a whole new offense in there. New quarterback.
Well, Mick Peterson has returned. And we'll see who he's got out there now. Probably send Jeff Callison at quarterback, number 5. Tim Duffy, number 84, a wide receiver. And there's Mick. Let's go back down to Joe. Joe, what you got for us?
Well, I find it kind of interesting, as cold as it is, and I would put my Sports Channel paycheck on it that we're with wind chill factor in single digits. They've got all these heavy jackets here for the Pontiac football team. For the players, look at this. Great jackets, very thick, but you'll notice none of the players are wearing them. They don't need them. They're too hot right now. Back upstairs.
Callis. And the handoff to number 44, Brett Graves, who's in the backfield for a couple of yards. Well, I like what Mick Peterson's doing here. There's good experience for his players, and again, it's just looking at a team that's basically overmatched, and to rub it in any further at this point, forget those Houston-Buffalo NFL comparisons. This one is the old adage, if it were a fight, it would be stopped by now.
There's dead ball, personal fouls on the offense and the defense. All setting, right?
Well, substitutions here and play calling, selective play calling are what really is the sportsmanship part to do here. I mean, you can call certain plays that, you know, shouldn't result in giant runs and certainly hold the score down, and you don't want to embarrass anybody in a state championship game.
There's Callis, 5'11" senior. He's got Graves behind him and Jeremy Turner. Turner, the tailback in the eye. That is he. Jeremy Turner shows a little something to his coach. Brad Altus, number 44, takes him down.
Jeremy Turner, it looked like we had an offside there. We didn't get a flag. Jeremy Turner, who made that nice knockdown earlier in the ball game, 5'6", 150-pound senior, getting an opportunity to carry the ball in the state championship game.
Gain of 5. It's 2nd and 5. Again, the 4A game coming your way on Sports Channel Plus right after this one. And the give up the middle. Looks like Pat Voth got a carry there, number 42. Jamie Gregson, Jeremy Reese combining on the stop. Here's a look at Jeff Callis. He's only thrown a couple of passes, but again, they use him as a quarterback inside the 10-yard line, or as they call it now, the red zone, and they put Reggie Kennedy in the backfield. And there's Heath Dotson talking to him. Dotson's had a pretty decent day with a couple of touches. Clock is running, 3:43. We're at 3rd down and 3. Again, they go to Jeremy Turner, and he is stopped short. And a rare punting situation for Pontiac. Jason Smith will make a return and put the ball in off his foot, although the last time it was 4th down, Jason Smith threw a 1st down pass.
Well, I would think that they will cover the wideouts on this punt.
I would be very surprised if there's any thought here other than kicking it away.
Well, what happens a lot of times, that was 4th down, Mike.
Whoops. Lost it down somewhere. 3:10 to go and counting, so Waterloo will take over. Further chance it off to Lane.
Still got the first group of defense in there.
And Graves makes the stop. And there, number 11 for Waterloo, Doug Esker, one of the receivers.
You have to remember the last few ball games that Pontiac's had, you know, we call them the cardiac kids. They haven't had the opportunity to get a lot of these kids in the ball game. So right now, it could be chaotic if they have mass substitutions, though they're probably trying to organize it to get them ready to go in.
You know what? They're on 2nd down. And again, Graves in there. We found out what happened. We know we did lose it down somewhere, and apparently the scoreboard didn't change on that double foul. So there should have been another down in there, but I don't think anybody's going to complain as they did at Nebraska. Was it Missouri?
Missouri. That's right.
Little different circumstance here.
Colorado got a few extra plays there.
Just a few. On the dead ball. Final 2 minutes here in the third quarter. Furtich to throw. Looking for Gone, and it's broken up by Callis. And there's a flag down.
Chop block right there. Could be blocking below the waist. Good job. Nice defense by Jeff Callis, 5'11", 155-pound senior.
Well, it will go against Waterloo as if they needed any more problems.
I think it might have been blocking below. Yep. Gee, I wish I was this smart in school.
Third down.
Of course, that's what my mother used to say all the time.
Well, that's your coaching experience over at Oak Park. Once again, we'll tell you following this one, Bill Gorley and Tom Stocker will bring you the 4A game, Geneseo against Marion. And that will be live on Sports Channel Plus. Check your local listings for that channel.
That should be a heck of a ball
Channel
game.
Plus. Here is Furtich on 3rd and 17.
Middle screen, they read it all the way. It's one of those days.
Well, Matt Altus completed the pass to Altus and ended up either a no gain or a short loss.
You can see right here, it's a middle screen, but the linebackers just sit there and wait. You can see right there, he just sat on that back.
Well, that's Mr. Kennedy. Wouldn't you know it?
He wasn't fooled at all. And that was his man in that coverage, and he didn't go anywhere. I think Tony got poked. It might have been poked in the eye.
Well, 4th and 17 from their own 36, and Steve Gardner is into the ball game, and he is in punt formation. Jason Smith and Jeff Callis will drop back. And knowing that Gardner's kicking into the wind and does not have a long average to begin with, there about the 45-yard line.
Nice kick. Turf roll.
And Smith will let it go inside the 30, right inside the 25. So a good kick, 40-yarder for Gardner of Waterloo, and with 1:19 to go, once again we'll get a chance to see some of the other players of Pontiac sitting on a 36-point lead. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank our spotters, Don DeLuga for Pontiac, Brett Reese for Waterloo, of course Lisa Koffenhafer, who is with us all through this championship playoff series.
Does make the booth nice and cozy with all those people in here.
I'm telling you, you have to shoehorn everybody in. Callis, the pitch to Turner. And Turner throwing for a loss in the backfield. Ryan Wilson, the senior linebacker, there to make the stop. 45 seconds to go.
Just a toss right here, trying to pop him outside, but a nice job by the outside linebackers. Stretching it out, Greg Evans, 6 foot, 235-pound senior, did a nice job of stretching that.
Loss of 2 at 2nd and 12. Under 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. And the quick hit again. This time Pat Vogt. And that should be the last play of the third quarter as Brad Altus makes the stop. That's the score, 48-12. We've got 12 minutes to go. And if you want to see a football machine, you're looking at it right there. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Pontiac Indians 48. Waterloo, the Bulldogs, tough, tenacious, but they're down big time. Starting the fourth quarter, a 3rd and 11 for Pontiac. The Indians on their own 24-yard line. Jeff Callis, second-string quarterback in there with a substitute backfield as well, as this game is well in hand. for the first
reverse
state championship, and they double reverse here. That's Doug Williams.
Got a clip.
Look at him. There's a flag flying, so it's obviously a clip. But the ball went to Doug Williams. Williams, a 6'2" senior wide receiver. Turner gets the pitch, hands it off to Williams, and he's
Start looking for the clips right in there. There it is, right there.
Yeah, Sean Arbogast, the guilty party. So this will come back from the spot of the foul.
There he is,
Sean
hanging his
Arbogast.
head.
Yeah. He'll be back next year. Just a junior, 6'3", 180-pound junior.
It's a great experience getting the opportunity to play in the state championship game.
So now it becomes a third and about an acre. Well, officially it's 22. Callis with Graves and Turner in the eye. This is Turner.
Fakes it.
And again, they fake it this time. Turner gets to the 17-yard line, and Tony Furtich and Ryan Wilson there to meet him.
Punt team coming onto the field. Just kind of fakes it right here. Nothing spectacular, and obviously by the looks of the defense, they weren't faked out at all.
Now Jason Smith kicks this one away. It'll be good field position as Furtich takes it down. He goes. But Waterloo will have a chance to score here. The ball well inside Pontiac territory, about the original first down point that Pontiac needed to retain possession.
Furtich is really a gutsy football player. Does everything for Waterloo. Does a nice job on all the kick returns and playing defense.
I like it. I think both these quarterbacks have redefined the position. They are all-purpose guys, even to the point of kicking off and playing defense, leading blocking. We've seen Furtich do that. Of course, Reggie Kennedy is an outstanding player, named by the Sun-Times. It's Small Schools Player of the Year, and we see every bit why. Furtich, a little slippery footing here, and Furtich has got room. Heath Dotson finally making the stop, number 13, and Furtich gets a nice run, gets a first down.
It'd be nice to see Waterloo get a couple scores here. He does a nice job of reading it here, puts a nice move on Pat Vaught.
Yeah. 18 yards on the scramble. First and 10 on the 16-yard line.
Now he's a tailback.
As Keefe comes in a quarterback, and they pitch it to Furtich. And Furtich again inside the 10. It's interesting how both these schools have such similar patterns, so they will take their quarterback and put him at running back inside the red zone. They do it with Keefe at Waterloo. And that is the first down of the half, believe it or not, for Waterloo, for the Bulldogs. And Reggie Kennedy goes to running back, and they bring Jeff Callis in over on the other side.
Well, you know, they really do. You know, when you talk about an athlete, that's really the meaning of an athlete, when they have the versatility that they both possess.
Handoff straight ahead to Lane. He needs two, and I don't think he got it. Pat Vaught again, along with Jeff Roberts, number 75. You see him. And there is Mick Peterson.
I think he's somewhat relaxed. Doesn't look real tense.
Well, you know, Brent McGee, only in his second year. Again, we told you that Brent McGee has known some of these players since they were in elementary school. So he's really grown up with them, and he's very, very proud of them, as he should be. Third down play. The defense rises for Waterloo, for Pontiac, we should say. And once again, let's go down to Joe Passion.
I was on the Waterloo sideline a moment ago, and one thing I guess you have to give Waterloo and Coach Brent McGee a little bit of credit is you would think a team that's down this much, this late in such a game, would definitely be way down, but they're not. They're showing some enthusiasm on their sidelines, a credit to their coaches and to the kind of team that got them here in the first place. They haven't given up, and I think by the hitting you're seeing out here, even still, is showing that character that still remains part of Waterloo's football team.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. They have taken a timeout with a 4th down and 1 situation on the Pontiac 7-yard line. They'd like to get a touchdown here, obviously, but they have had problems scoring on gaining short yardage. They've had problems gaining on just about any yardage short of kick returns.
Well, Pontiac still has quite a few of their first team members in there on defense. I'm sitting up here and I'm certainly hoping that Waterloo gets the first down and punches one in here.
Well, they had an excellent playoff. We'll tell you about that in a minute. You can see 2 touchdowns each for Heath Dodson, Jim Burnside, and Jason Smith. 3 touchdown passes for Reggie Kennedy and 2 touchdowns there for Lane and Furtich, 1 apiece. Here on 4th down we go. The pitch.
You got it.
And looks like he did get it.
Good mark. First down.
And Tony Furtich, the man, takes the ball down inside the 5.
Nothing fancy, just a toss, trying to get the fullback to kick out on the corner. And Jeff Callis comes up a little short of making the tackle.
Had a nice block in there also by number 33, Matt Altus. Matt and Brad in the same backfield. Brad the sophomore, Matt is a senior. So 1st and goal. Call the ball at the 6. Straight ahead, pushing through close to the goal line. And Tony Furtich back in at the quarterback spot, just sneaks it pretty close to the score. About a yard away.
He's been in that ball game. And of course, they don't have the heaters on their sideline, so his hands are probably very brittle at this point.
Well, you talk about the pride this team should have in itself. They defeated DuQuoin, really one of the top seeds. Then they beat Harrisburg. Came up very late in the 4th quarter to defeat Breeze to get here, Modern Day. So they've done very well.
Touchdown.
And coming in for the touchdown is Altus. Brad Altus. And it's 48-18 game with 7:16 to go. Again, nothing fancy, the straight handoff. And that looks like it breaks the record for 2 teams scoring in a 3A championship. A record I don't think Waterloo will terribly
be bragging
pride
about.
in. Yeah, it's not going to go on the trophy case. Tim Keefe there to attempt the extra point.
See if he's got any kind of footing here to make the plant there. Ooh, bad snap.
Furtich. Well, Jeff Roberts putting on a little hot dog there that I'm sure Mick Peterson will discuss with him. So we'll have the kickoff in just a minute. 7 minutes, 16 seconds to go. There he is, the man in shorts, and here's a look at the touchdown. Waterloo gets to score. Well, Brent McGee has seen his team score a touchdown. 48-18 the score as Waterloo prepares to kick off, and they're running a play here.
Power onside kick.
And Tim Keefe is the kicker. And you wonder about an onside kick in this situation, Jack, as a coach. What do you think?
Well, you know, there's 2 ways of looking at it. You want to get back in the ball game with but 7 minutes left. There's not really much of a chance. If you get the ball back on the onside kick, that's fine. You drive down, you make the score presentable. But on the other hand, if you don't, you give them field position. They haven't been doing anything wrong all day, and now you just escalate the situation. So it's really, you you know, you're trying to tell your kids never to quit, but there comes a time when you need to be somewhat realistic also.
Pontiac took a timeout as we look at the scoring drive for Waterloo. 7 plays, 34 yards, and 3:38 on the clock. And then run from Brad Altus. And here again is Tim Keefe. Will tee the ball up. He's put it on the left hash mark, and we'll see if they do, in fact, go to the onside kick. And Pontiac certainly has it set up that way with a hands team in there.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
See, he could have fair caught that. Had he dropped it, it would have been a live ball. And
catch is made nicely by Burnside, who was up there again. They had the backs and the defensive backs in that hands team situation.
Jason Smith was just gesturing to him that he should have called for a fair catch, which you can do. See, he's trying to catch the ball because it went 10 yards, which he could do. I mean, that's legal. He could have caught that ball and taken off.
And you know the defender could have stopped, and there would have been a violation there, a penalty there for running into the man signaling a fair catch. That's a lot to think about at this
It certainly is, especially when you look up at that scoreboard.
Doug Schwentner, the new quarterback, in there now with 7 minutes to go. And the handoff, and the big pile up. And Brett Graves gets a carry there. Schwentner, number 3. Just a sophomore, 6'1", 155 pounds, so he is getting some experience. Matt Robinson, a wide receiver, comes in, number 45. There he is. Boy, I bet you he didn't think he was going to get into this one. Look at me, Mom, I'm on TV. And Schwentner's going to run the option. And dragged down from behind by Matt Altus. And let's go back down to Joe. Joe, you still eating that hot dog?
No, we're having even more fun down here. The Pontiac Indians are getting ready to celebrate a state championship, their first ever in school history. How ready are they? Well, I'll tell you what, Erica and Carrie have already Pontiac Indians 3A state football champions. The baseball caps are already made. And your father made these?
Yes, he did. Well, he made the sweatshirt.
And of course, he runs Schooners in Bloomington. And I would imagine that's where there's going to be a lot of celebrating going on.
Everybody go to Schooners.
All right, girls. Well, enjoy those. Stay warm with those. So already the plans are being made, and I guess that's how confident this Pontiac team has been all along in capturing this 3A football title.
All right, that's not bad, Joe. 2 plugs in 30 seconds. I think that's terrific. Okay, it brings up a 4th down, 4th and 4 with the ball on the 47. And Jason Smith's going to come in and punt the ball away, and Tony Furtich is going to drop back. And the clock is at 5:30 and holding.
No, they're short of.
And now something happened here. Timeout Pontiac. It looked like they were playing 6-man football up on the line there. They didn't have a lot of bodies.
This is what happens when you're in this situation, and fortunately Mick Peterson won't be as upset as he normally would be, obviously, if you didn't have all your people in there on the special teams. But looking up at the scoreboard, he can maintain his composure when he comes up with only 9 or 10 men on the special teams.
Well, remember, coming up after this on Sports Channel Plus live, Chicago Heights Marion against Geneseo Darnell, the Class 4A championships. We'll be back at noon tomorrow, Jack and I. There you see the 4A situation. Belvedere against Bolingbrook, and that promises to be quite a ball game. The 5A matchup starting at noon, followed by Downers Grove South against Loyola Academy of Wilmette. And Tom Stocker and Bill Gorley will be bringing that to you, and Joe Passion will be roving the sidelines, hot dog in hand. Smith with the rush on, gets it away nicely, and Furtich, watch this, takes a Pontiac bounce. Boy, when it's going well, it's going well. It just camps on the 10-yard line, a 38-yard punt. 5 minutes, 14 seconds to go, and the fans in Pontiac waving their orange and blue pom-poms and pennants. And meanwhile, back inside, there is a place to warm up here at Hancock Stadium. A day, I tell you, Jack, started out a heck of a lot worse than it ended up in terms of the weather conditions. This morning when we tried to pry our car doors open, I thought this was going to be as bad as it could possibly be, but the weather has cleared. The temperatures have held pretty true. It certainly is cold and uncomfortable, but at least it is bearable to play. This morning there was a question of whether they can even see across the field.
It was interesting conditions all day.
We're trying to give.
They're down in the best part of the field right now.
Right, Matt Altus. Check it, that's Lane getting up.
Just a power play where the tackles are double, the tackle and guard are doubling down, and the fullback is kicking out.
Sean Dunning, number 31, leading the defense. Now substitutions being made on the defensive side by MICK PETERSON. Trouble on the exchange, and Furtich covers up.
You know, as well as Pontiac has played, you just really have to feel for Brent McGee and his Waterloo team. Right there, Furtich just pulls out a little too quickly, and ball's popped up in the air. When it goes bad, it all goes bad.
Yeah. Third down play and about 5. All right, call it 4.
He's got a man wide open. Oh, mercy.
Gone would have been.
Wide open. But such has the day been for Waterloo. Good fake right here. Real good play action. He looks backside and he's got gone all by himself.
Again, throwing with the wind and off the crown just enough, along with the ice. And Gahn just could not hold on. And it's a 4th and 4, and they are going for it. There's a look at Trevor Gahn. Tony Furtich. Here comes Lane.
Get it. Good job.
And the coach starts to talk now. The coach and Jack McInerney pulling for John Lane, and Lane did. Brought down by number 45, Robinson. And it'll be a first down. Under 3.5 minutes to go now.
Good job right here, running, picking up the first down, keeping the drive going and keeping the clock running.
Ball is out to the 28. And I will tell you, Tony Furtich has impressed me. Keefe is in at quarterback now. Tim Keefe to throw.
That was a heck of a throw.
Complete. Out to Ryan Wilson.
He's only thrown the ball twice. That was a heck of a throw.
First completion of the season, good for 15 yards. Nice play by Ryan Wilson.
Furtich is a tailback right here. Just comes out in a little rollout, throws the ball on the run. That's a heck of a throw.
Yeah, got something on it, wind or no wind.
He had 2 choices.
Yeah. Gain of 15, the ball out to the 43, and the clock at 2:40 now. And they go to the spread. Again, Furtich as they play changing quarterbacks. Intended for Keefe. So this is pitch and catch with revolving QBs.
Well, a run in motion trying to get the secondary to screw up on the coverage, but wasn't so much the coverage as the overthrowing right here. You can see the safety, number 41, just drifting back, reading the eyes. He breaks on the ball, and actually was a slow and poor break on the ball. It was just overthrown.
Second down, and Furtich now. There's a good look at him. They return to the spread. That's Keefe in motion. You get a chance to show a lot of the different offensive sets here, and this is Furtage.
Furtage, the ball carrier. There was a flag on the play.
Penalty marker goes down. See midfield. Holzhauer and Carey make the stop. As we told you, tomorrow, another football doubleheader as we continue the Illinois High School Association Annual Championships, the Class 5A game, and that promises to be a beauty. Belvedere and Bolingbrook. And we'll have that one for you at noon, followed by Downers Grove South against Wilmette Loyola Academy.
5A game should be a good one. Bolingbrook is really a potent offensive team.
10-yard penalty.
And of course, Belvedere runs the no-huddle wishbone and has been down here before. Should be a real exciting ball game. And that 6A game is going to be a real battle. I mean, those are two very physical football teams. It'll be a real hard-hitting football game. Finesse in the 5A game, and I think brute force in the 6A.
Here's the pitch out. Lane brought down by one of the substitute defensive backs, Robinson, Matt Robinson, a junior.
Nice job on the option right here.
I guess it's pretty slick out there still. See how Keefe had a problem holding his footing. Matt Robinson and Scott Robinson, another family tree action there. They are cousins. We're down to under 90 seconds.
Pontiac fans are getting a little rambunctious here underneath our stands. Get rid of it.
Keefe with a lot of pursuit. Cranks it up, and a good play across the field. Ball is completed.
Hurry, 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 hurry. Nice throw. And even a better catch.
Looked like Trevor Gahn got it.
Pretty close to a clip right there.
Yeah, Trevor Gahn makes the reception, and clock shows 1:04, and we've got a timeout. Because once again, we have a 4th down situation. Waterloo would like to get one more.
You know, with this ball game and the field conditions the way they are for tonight, with Geneseo and Marian Catholic, two very potent football teams. It'll be interesting. You know, this surface is really tough on these football teams. And tomorrow, you know, we talked about it. The weather seems to have cleared somewhat, but it's supposed to be extremely cold tonight. We could have exactly the same surface for tomorrow's ball game, which will make it even difficult for Bolingbrook because of their speed merchant.
That's right, and they also don't throw the ball. And it's interesting, there's not too much you can do on a field like this. You really can't thaw it out, as Furtage airs it out, looking for Gahn again. You can't, plowing it really won't do anything because you've got water underneath the turf that will come to the surface and freeze. So we were kidding about having Christy Yamaguchi as the halftime entertainment. That could very well be the case tomorrow, as this field is very slick.
Just a halfback pass right here.
Well, it's Rudy time for Pontiac. I think you're getting guys in the game right now who probably never saw PT, and I think that's terrific.
Well, it's the old theory about kids want to be on the bandwagon. Now they get an opportunity to play that instrument.
Yeah. Schwenter, the quarterback, and he'll take a knee, and he'll do it once more, and that'll be it.
Almost looks like the ball boy going in there.
Tim Willie, 5'6", 125-pound sophomore. Tom Willie, number 9. And 33 seconds, 32, 31. One more snap, and Pontiac will be the 3A champions in their first trip to the playoffs. That will do it. Final seconds ticking down. A happy bunch of Pontiac Indians as they defeat Waterloo in a stunning exhibition. You can't knock Waterloo. Pontiac just came out there and played outstanding football. 48-18 the final. And let the celebration begin. And it's happening right below us, Jack.
They really had They saved it all. The Cardiac kids put it together today, and they were going on all 8 cylinders the entire football game.
Well, this was a team that was 30 seconds from being out of the playoffs last week. And the miraculous pass catch saved them, won the game over Montini. That was a 34-28 game. The week before, 21-20 over University High here in Normal. Kewanee, they played that one in the snow too, and they won that one 21-14. But the team they played, an excellent defensive team. Pontiac, however, put everything together and played an outstanding game. It might not have been the most entertaining for folks after the first half, but boy, this was a clinic.
Well, it's amazing they scored that many points. Waterloo only had been averaging, giving up 4.6 a game. So just a little more than a field goal each game, and it tells you something about the Pontiac Indians.
Well, Waterloo had never gone past the first round of the playoffs either, and they had an outstanding run. We told you with a defeat of #1 seeded DuQuoin, also Harrisburg, which at one time had been rated second in 3A. So they certainly have an awful lot to be proud of, although you may have a tough time convincing Brent McGee and his young players of that right now. They really should hold their heads high. There's Brent McGee right there, and the second place finishers in State Class 3A, and there's the first place finishing team, the Indians of Pontiac. Helmets are high, so's the enthusiasm. We'll be back right after this. The awards presentation now commences on the 50-yard line here at Hancock Stadium. A very proud group of Bulldogs getting their second place trophies. And that will transpire at this moment.
Tell you what, there's an awful lot of people sitting at home that would like to be up on that stand right now. Might be a little tough for them right now, but it'll be all right soon.
Mr. Newton will present the special medallion to Mr. Gordon and the individual awards to Coach McGee and his team captain.
Boy, that young man has been in a football game. Nice to see some of our folks who helped put this production on the air. Matt Altus getting his medal. Coach Brent McGee will get his. Now, they don't look too happy, but you know they're going to feel a lot better about it when they tell this to their kids and grandkids, or maybe when they tell it to a few folks in a couple of weeks.
Oh, absolutely.
They end the season 13-1. Likewise for Pontiac, 13-1. I don't know, Jack. I mean, can you turn to one point and say that that was a key moment in this game? I've got one for you, and that was the intercepted pitch.
Well, that certainly was a big play. Whenever your defense gets a touchdown for you, you know that's a big factor in a ball game, and the way they did it really turned the tide. Right after that, I mean, Waterloo. It wasn't so much Waterloo went flat. It was just like Mick Peterson's group couldn't do anything wrong. The confidence level soared.
You know what? And I'll take it back even a little bit further earlier into the ball game. After the first touchdown, they go for the one-point conversion. It's a high snap. It goes right from the snapper into the arms of the kicker. He throws it to the tight end coming across, and it's 2 points instead of none.
Well, you know, that's good coaching. They work on that when that happens, but to have it happen in the state championship game is something special.
There they are, the Pontiac Indians. And they are the champions, my friend. Coach Mick Peterson, his assistants. Never won a playoff game. What a way to go. Well, that's over with. You think more coaches now will work from up the press box? I don't know. It works for Mick.
No, I don't think so. You know one of the college coaches that used to do that all the time? He was at Eastern Illinois. Was at Florida State at one time.
Oh, you're going to make me play 20 questions. It's going to be.
Well, I'm going to make you play that till I can remember who it is. Coached at Florida State and was at Eastern Illinois when they won the national championship, and he coached from the press box.
Oh, you're doing this. You know, he told
Great
me
fisherman. Used to love to go fishing all the time.
Babe Winkleman.
I'm serious. I can't remember who it is. I mean, I have it on the tip of my tongue. I brought that up, and I know who it is, but now I can't think of it. I'm frozen in time here.
Brain goes.
It went from my feet to my medulla. It's cold around here.
Well, there's the scene. We'll talk to Mick Peterson in just a moment. There's a happy group right there. And we'll take a break and return after this. Field once again. Here's Joe Passion.
Well, 48-18, the final score here, and Mick Peterson and his cardiac kids did not have to worry about any cardiac arrest on this one. I thought you put this one away very early. All three winners thus far in this state championship day scored on their first offensive possession. You were another one.
Well, Joe, I felt coming into the ball game that we really had to make a statement, because if you're going to play a defense that's tough like they are, you have to make sure that you let them know right off the bat how you're going to approach the ball game. When we came into the ball game with the idea that we were going to throw everything under the sun at them, and that we give them as much movement, much motion, everything in the arsenal that we could, and if they could stop it, then they'd have the ball game. But I felt coming in that our plan of attack and our style of attack was going to give them some problems.
Mick, after you scored your second touchdown, you were still upstairs in the press box at the time, but your players down here were yelling and screaming, enjoying that second touchdown and reminding themselves about Waterloo earlier in the week, saying that they would not let you score more than one touchdown, as has been their case most of the season.
Well, I think that was a tremendous motivator. I mean, we were challenged. We were told that we couldn't score, and that's nothing more that I needed to get our team jacked rather than to be given issue that challenge. And, you know, but it boils down to, Joe, that they played. Our kids did the job. Smitty, Jimmy Burnside, Heath Dodson, and Reggie Kennedy finished off his high school career with the way he wants to go out. And then our defense really got tough, made things miserable for him, and then, you know, the third quarter we got out quick, two quick turnovers, converted them into 2 quick scores, and then
and that's what I want to go to. You told me at halftime that you wanted to regain that momentum, and you did. We're showing a replay right now of that interception early in the third quarter, and that swung the momentum your way in a hurry.
Well, it took any steam that they might have had out of the locker room right away. First play of the half, and then, you know, after the unfortunate penalty that we got, ran a great screen pass. Jimmy made a heck of a run. Good Lord, it was just a beauty to watch, cut back against the grain. Just nice to know that I got that young man coming back next year.
Mike Litterman and Coach Mack are upstairs, and I know that they were talking a lot about how well you mix things up offensively. You really never gave them anything to focus on. You always had something else to mix it up with.
Well, that was our plan coming in. I just feel that our system, you know, our system is implanted now. It's taken a while, and you know, when it works, you know, we look pretty gosh darn good. And in a tournament, it really worked well, and I just can't be happier than I am for those kids, because you know, they're the ones that have to put in the time. And you can lead the horse to water, Joe, but you can't make them drink it, and they drank it, and that's why we're #1 right now.
One last thing, Mick. Pontiac, of course, has always hosted the country's oldest high school Christmas basketball tournament, one that I've covered many times. A great town that really surrounds itself with its own passion around high school sports, but now they can do it around football. That's got to make you very pleased.
And the nice thing to do is, hopefully by that time that tournament, we'll be able to hang a banner down in the far end of the gym with the information concerning the efforts of this young ball club. And we're just so very, very proud of them.
Mick, congratulations. A great ball club and a great game here today to prove it.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
48-18, our final score. Let's send it back upstairs to Mike and Matt.
Thank you very much, Joe. 34-12 the score at halftime, and I guess it went downhill from there. And we know who that coach was. It was Darryl Mudra.
That's right,
Okay.
Darryl Mudra.
The man in the press box, the eye in the sky, whatever else. We got some more highlights to show you because this was a real highlight fest for Pontiac. Let's take a look here. First of all, Reggie Kennedy, what a day he had.
Nice job of faking the screen to the wide side, comes back to the short side, the Burnside, and he just does a nice job here of running, cuts back. Right here, puts a little move right there and just turns on the burners, and Burnside had enough speed to take it in for the touchdown and off the screen.
Well, Burnside, the short side for the touchdown, and then he followed up with another touchdown. He had two. Dotson had a couple. Let me tell you something. This was an incredible experience to watch these two excellent quarterbacks, Furtich as well as Reggie Kennedy, do so much. We don't mean to belabor the point, but when you see quarterbacks making plays in the secondary, leading the blocking, kicking extra points, I tell you, if maybe they had plowed the field, it might have been a little bit less slick because they absolutely did everything.